All right, Bristol Motor Speedway. PG1 didn't do anything. More about that coming up. It's the 6:45 show. what? What the hell, man? What? The, what the hell? What the hell?
It was funny. I didn't mean to laugh, man.
All right, more about that. Welcome everybody to another 6:45 show. I was rudely interrupted doing my opening act. I am one of your hosts, Derek Jewett, driver number 45 to Non-Typical Designs, and right beside me, that beautiful, handsome devil, Connor and the Fish, and then right beside him is Aaron Baum, driver number 6, Ford Mustang, Non-Typical Designs. How's it going, man?
It's going, man.
Yeah,
It's going. Uh, yeah, it's been going.
yeah, yeah. Do any kicking over the week?
I did. I did. There was a few days where the weather wasn't either tornadoes or like crazy wind, so I had to make the most of them.
Yeah,
I had some good videos of punting, so I'm just been going back and watching those.
yeah.
It's been a good time.
Yeah,
How have you been?
another day, another dollar. So I worked. I was supposed to work 6 days this week. Ended up working 5. They called me off Thursday. Love to hear it. So got an appointment tomorrow to get my head scanned and get my wiener touched, and not even by a
Oh wow!
doctor. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Anyway.
Who by?
They said it was a doctor, but anyway, my ankles got X-rayed, or microwaved, I should say. Anyway, welcome to the 6:45 show. We're gonna be talking about NASCAR, talking about iRacing. We're gonna do a little different. We're still trying to figure some stuff out. So the first hour, 45 minutes, an hour, we're going to be talking about the NASCAR stuff, anything NASCAR news that we might have missed over the week, and talk about the races, and then we'll end the show. But still on YouTube, we'll come back. We'll talk about our iRacing stuff, rather if it's NIS, any leagues, any officials, any breaking news. We'll talk about the eNASCAR, Coca-Cola Pro Series, all that fun shenanigans. We won't waste too much of your time with it. We're trying to stay between like 10 to 30 minute mark. So yeah. Let's get into the news, shall we? One thing we didn't talk about, Cody Ware Racing being sued by Legacy Motorsports, which is owned by 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson and 7-time champion Richard Petty. So, don't know if you knew this, partner, because it looks like you don't. So, Cody Ware Racing is selling a charter to Legacy Motorsports. Again, charter talk. Love to talk about charters, how amazing they are. They fucking suck. Anyway, so Legacy Motorsports and Rick Ware Racing, not Cody Ware Racing, Rick Ware Racing, agreed to, get a charter, give a charter, whatnot. And Legacy Motorsports signed the contract, expecting the charter to be handed to them in 2026. Rick Ware Racing thought, I guess, not looking at the paperwork, not looking at the contract, signing the contract, expecting to give Legacy Motorsports the charter in 2027. So now there's a bunch of stuff coming around and being thrown at Rick Ware Racing. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Rick Ware Racing. I know a lot of people defend Rick Ware himself, because he does put a lot of money into the company, and a lot of his own money into the company, in these race cars. But you have these lawyers, man. Like, look over the contract, the fine print. Anything that I'm agreeing to. There's a fine print that I look at and make sure that I'm not selling or giving my rights away or giving pictures of my butthole to people. It's just like how do you not how do you I don't understand that. Like, how do you just let that go? you know?
Yeah, I don't know. And the only part I heard about this was that the charter was way more expensive than they were a year ago. Like he sold it for many $1 million more than when he bought it for, which is ruining racing, to be honest with you. Like I said, I don't know much about this particular lawsuit, but I'm just not hearing about it for the first time. But charter system is such bullshit. That's why you love Xfinity and trucks, where there really isn't one. It's just, hey, if you can build, sheet metal around a chassis and you can make tech, you have a chance. That's just shitty to hear. But yeah, so what was it? They like Legacy Motor Club, Jimmy Johnson. They thought they were getting a charter for 26, and
Yeah, so
or
they signed the contract expecting the charter to be given to them for the 2026 season. Rick Ware Racing believed the contract was for 2027. So they have plans for the 2026 season of 2 cars, and then they were going to go into 2027 with only 1 car. But now they're like trying to fight it. They're like, hey, like we wanted this for 2027, not 2026, and this, that, the other. And Jimmy Johnson, Legacy Motorsports, is like, well, you signed the contract. You told us we can have it in 2026. We're going to take it in 2026. So I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know. Kind of a weird thing. And when you said you didn't read it, you didn't hear about it. Well, that's because the whole Dale Jr. and Lamar Jackson thing was going on. So that kind of just like flew under the radar of the lawsuit and everything, which, coming back to the Dale Jr. thing, Dale Jr. has come out and said that he could do whatever he wants. It's just we wanted the slant for the DEI in number 8. That was it. So, and it wasn't like he wanted to say he wanted to be the only one to use it. He wanted a trademark. So, but yeah, a lot of lawsuits being thrown around in the NASCAR community.
It's like we can only handle one at a time. It's like, hold on, Rick Ware. No one cares about you anyway.
Well, right, we still
no one cares about Legacy Motor Club anyway. Also,
we got the 2311 lawsuit. We still got that Dale Jr. One that came out, and now the Rick Ware Racing. So there's a lot of bits and pieces going around. So let's get into the race weekend, shall we? You didn't watch any, did you?
I watched the truck race, and I watched qualifying for Xfinity, and I watched Xfinity practice. But I watched most of the truck race. I was listening to Frankie Muniz on the radio. It was kind of interesting, and which leads me to my first point, which being NASCAR missed a big wreck in the truck race at a half-a-mile racetrack. It was trending on Twitter. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I was listening to Frankie Muniz radio while watching the broadcast. Broadcast goes to commercial. I go to the kitchen. I hear, "Oh, we're getting wrecked by the 98," or whoever it was, whoever he said. And I was like, "Oh, damn!" So I run back in here, and I still see it's a commercial. I'm like, "Okay, I know how this works. I'm just gonna wait until they're off of commercial to see what happened." And then they're like, "Caution's out on the speedway, Frankie Muniz." And I was like, "Okay, let's see it." Never showed it. Camera never got an angle of it. It's a half-mile racetrack. You can have a camera on the fucking Jumbotron up there or whatever that can just get a shot of the whole thing. Like that is actually insane to me, just for the whole sake of shitting on Fox Broadcasting. But that was a big point on Reddit and Twitter this week was, how do you miss that? It took out like 4 cars. I think one of the Dash for Cash guys as well, or whatever the truck equivalent was, racing for 50 grand, and it was like, really? You can get a clean shot of that? It was wild.
That would be the triple truck challenge for the $50,000 bonus. So Chandler Smith for the Truck Series led 127 laps, held off a late challenge from Kyle Larson to secure his 6th Truck Series win and first of the season. The podium finish was Chandler Smith, Kyle Larson, and Corey Heim. Smith earned a $50,000 bonus, as you were saying, as the winner of the 2nd race in this program. I like it. I like the Dash for Cash. I like these bonuses because everybody complains about NASCAR, even baseball, being such a long schedule. It just drags on. There's so much. 162 games, 30 fucking races. How many races do we need? With this, it helps because, like, yes, you still have a race within a race. You have stages, okay? Yeah, stage wins are pretty important. But to be like, to have Kyle Larson come down, win a Truck Series race, and then come and, like Chandler Smith finish second and win $50,000, that's awesome. Like, that's awesome for the guys that need it, the teams that need it, the drivers that need it, whatever. I think it's a great thing. But shout out to Chandler Smith. I'm glad Kyle Larson didn't win because we all know that Kyle Larson is probably my most hated driver in racing right now. Good guy.
A brutal weekend for you, partner.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I'm not saying he's not a bad guy. He is not a Kevin Harvick. Me and him have had conversations. I've gotten pictures with him. I have his autograph on my glove. Right.
That's actually insane, by the way. Not for nothing.
Right
That's
there.
crazy.
Right there. Okay. So I don't hate the guy. I just don't like him racing because he wins all the time. And when he doesn't win, everybody expects, oh, well, if it wasn't for this, that, the other, like, I seeing how many people last week, like, defending him, the reason why he spun out on lap 3 was absolutely crazy. Well, if the track wasn't this old and, there wasn't a bump, maybe these cars weren't so crappy, he would have, he made a mistake. He screwed up. Like, how is that different from when Tyler Reddick was chasing down Alex Bowman in Chicago and pancaked the wall and still came home second? Like, everybody just needs to get off the dick riding of Kyle Larson. Okay, again, great guy. Okay, I love him as a person. He's a great person. What he's doing for the dirt track stuff, awesome. I just don't want to see him racing.
I think what's getting to you is what's called Hendrick Motorsport fans, and I think the fans are pretty insufferable on social media in the terms of the defense of him. And he is like, with how shitty these cars are, it goes to the point of like they're trying to make superstars, and if there's somebody that's consistently winning, okay, here's your only meal ticket, to put on shit, and like especially with the indie stuff, like he is like Jeff Gordon of right now, like they're trying to make him out to be. Typically that stuff kind of happens naturally. Like, yes, he's very talented, he wins a lot of stuff, but he's also a Hendrick guy, so he gets the love from all the Hendrick Motorsports stands. But yeah, the truck race, man, I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna run down Chandler Smith after that caution, because there was a restart. He was right behind him. And you saw Chandler Smith just take off, and all of a sudden, knowing what I know now about racing, it was kind of cool to see somebody try something and hope for it to work and have it not work. Because you think like Kyle Larson's an alien, and he's going to just obliterate and chew up and spit out this Chandler Smith guy in a truck series race. Like, why wouldn't he? Green flag goes, Chandler Smith takes off really well. And all of a sudden, you see Larson's not really making any ground. It's kind of staying in the same gap. And it was like, oh, wait a minute, he's human. And then he went out to the outside, and a commentary booth was like, oh, there goes Larson. And for a split second, there was that like, oh shit, he's about to put on a masterclass. But then you realized it's because he had nothing on the bottom. It moves up to the outside, had nothing up there either. And I bet Chandler Smith was in his mirror like, he's got nothing for me. Like, great drive. Awesome drive by him. It was cool to see Larson make his way from, I think he was somewhere back around 10th or so when there was a previous caution. He drove his way through a bunch of dudes to even get up there, which was cool to see. But yeah, I don't want him to sweep a weekend anytime soon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would agree, and it brings up my point. Actually, we'll talk about the Xfinity race, and then I'll bring up my question. So the Xfinity race, Kyle Larson delivered a dominant performance, securing the pole position, winning the second stage, leading 277 laps of 300. So 33 laps of 300 was not led by the driver of the number 17, Kyle Larson. The victory marks his 16th career Xfinity Series win, his second in the 2025 season. Carson Quaffle and Justin Allgaier are your top three, and then Justin Allgaier claimed the $100,000 bonus. for the Dash for Cash. Now, a lot of people bitched and complained for several years saying Kyle Busch should not be coming down to the Truck Series race. Kyle Busch should not be coming down to the Xfinity Series race. They put bounties on Kyle Busch. Whoever can beat Kyle Busch can get an extra bonus. And then they didn't. They ended up, in my opinion, and I think a lot of NASCAR fans' opinion, they made a Kyle Busch rule where these Cup guys can still come down to the Xfinity Series, can come down to the Truck Series and race, certain amount of races. Do you think that needs to go away? Do you think that they need to limit it a little bit more? Like, hey, you can only race 5 races or 3. I don't know how many races they can race in the Truck Series. I don't know how many races they can race in the Xfinity Series. But it's if Tyler Reddick was coming down to the Xfinity Series and winning every single week like Kyle Larson is, I would be in the same boat. Like, what are you taking? Or how do I want to word this? Like, why would you want to go down to a lower series and just dominate? You're not gaining any points. Sure, you're getting money. You're getting the team points. You're getting your sponsor, viewership. But there's nothing else for you. There's nothing to gain from it. The evolution or I guess the evolution from the Xfinity car to the Cup Series car is dramatically different. Like, there's no, like, I'm going to drive just like this in the Xfinity car and the Cup car. It doesn't work like that. Maybe if it was the older gen, like the Gen 6, because they were kind of close, but it's just taking these wins away from these younger guys who are trying to make a name for themselves, like Carson Quaffle, like Sammy Smith. Justin Allgaier, I mean, he's a champion. He's kind of one of the veterans in the series, but I mean, I don't like the Cup Series guys coming down and dominating. And I'm like, even in league racing, I don't like that. I try to, I'm a truck driver and Xfinity guy. I try my best not to race in the Cup Series unless it's like the Daytona 500, a Talladega. I'm doing Kansas. I'm doing the Charlotte or the Coke 600, and that's it. I'm not doing anything else. There's no reason for me to go to a Bristol race. So I want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, see, like that's the thing is, I think you said it, and I think the main reason is just it's kind of easy money. The team wants you because it's easy money for the team, easy money for sponsors. Like, hey, like whoever he sponsors, Kyle Larson's Xfinity or truck ride's gonna have a good chance to like win or be in the top 3, or if at least they wreck, it's still a big enough deal to make the news. So like, kind of. So I'm kind of torn, man, because I see the point of wanting younger guys to have their chance and all that. I really do get it. But then when you look at the crowds at a truck race, I was thinking about this pre-show, and I was thinking, okay, this is the premier motorsport in the world, right? Like the NASCAR Cup Series obviously is the pinnacle of it, but Xfinity and truck is still the best guys in the world. You watch the truck race, dude, there's like nobody in the crowd at Bristol. Like, you mean to tell me people aren't going there Friday night? You mean to tell me people aren't taking a day off on Friday? No, because they could kind of give a shit less about a truck race, and that's the kind of the issue we're facing with. What stars are we talking about? The only reason we know Carson Hocevar is because he has a shitload of money behind him, and he came from the Xfinity, did a pretty good job at Xfinity, and moved up. It wasn't because he was setting the world on fire there, talent-wise. It's just whoever has money, the media and sponsors know how to make somebody famous, so they'll just make whoever they want famous to fit, with their agenda. Because I was really feeling bad for Chandler Smith. I'm like, dude, that guy's gonna go back whether he never makes it to the Cup Series or as like a top guy or whatever. He can go back and look at that and say, for what it's worth, he held off the best in the world at that time at Bristol. Like, how cool! And he had nobody to cheer in front of, like nobody there. I was like, that's kind of just shitty. That just reeks of like almost like money laundering. I guess the Truck Series money laundering. Like nobody shows up for this, but who are they racing for? No one's watching it on TV. Like I'm a diehard NASCAR guy, and I have a tough time watching the truck race. Um, anyway, just so my thing is like if you could have a couple people in there that people know, I guess maybe it helps TV ratings also. I think the only people that have an issue with it are the people that just can't beat them. And that, once again, it goes to the money thing. Like racing is money, and racing equals experience, and experience equals being able to be successful. I don't know. I don't know what you do. Do you make it to where they can only run a certain number? But every time that there's going to be a weekend where Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup is going to be there, people are going to be ringing Kyle Larson's phone. Hey, man, do you want to run a triple? You know, have a chance to get a sweep? And I don't know why he would say no. I think he just likes driving anything with four wheels on it.
Yeah, and with the trucks attendance and whatnot, I want to give a shout out to my younger brother Matthew. He actually hooked me up with a really, 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 really good deal. His job is giving some NASCAR tickets for a very cheap price. I bought my ticket for the Cup race very, very cheap. Wasn't really paying attention on what section I selected. I just was like, well, this is dirt cheap. I'm gonna buy it. Next day, I'm driving to work, listening to the radio. It says, oh, the 98.9 The Rock is presented by Kansas Speedway, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, oh, I should look to see what my ticket is. So I looked. I'm start-finish line, 5 rows from the track. And then on top of that, I added it to my phone because Apple Wallet, whatever, and it said that I had pre-race. I was like, what the fuck? So I look at the sheet that he sent me in our messages, and it says if you purchase a Cup Series ticket or a Truck Series ticket, you will get pre-race added into for free. I was like, dude, you just saved me like $200. Like, this is crazy. So I'm going to the Cup race. Very, very excited. I'm going all weekend, and that's what I was going to get to. If you are going to now, I understand people have jobs. I have a job. Luckily, my job is allowing me to have this vacation of sorts. And I enjoy the fact that I've been to Daytona and I've been to Kansas. That's the only 2 tracks I've been to. So Daytona, obviously it's a different beast because I went during the Daytona 500. There's a lot going on. It's the first race of the year. It's the Great American Race. Kansas, a little different. There's not a lot to do outside of the track just because it's in the middle of a field, basically. But my opinion is if you're going to a Cup race, the Xfinity race, the truck race, hell, even the ARCA race are dirt cheap. Like, why don't you just go all 3 races? Like, I would like to meet Tyler Reddick. That's my plan. I already have been talking to the people that I associate myself with in certain groups. And, we're working on something with Tyler Reddick, which is pretty fucking cool. And then on top of that, like, the truck race is the truck race. It's a race. I'm going to enjoy it no matter who's in it, who's not in it. I just love racing. And if you are that type of person where you just love racing, why don't you just spend the extra $20, $30 to see a truck race? It is literally $15 for an ARCA Series race, where you're going to see guys and gals who are busting their ass off to get themselves to the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. So, that's how I found Connor Zelich. I watched him in the ARCA Series. I saw how dominant he was. I raced with his crew chief, Shane Hoffman, on iRacing. He invited me to Victory Lane when Connor Zelich won at the Kansas Speedway last year. I got to be in Victory Lane. That is super cool. I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody, but just go and support it. It's a race. Drink some brewskis, have a good time, barbecue. Get yourself in the infield. Hell, I know most tracks, if not all tracks, you can leave the venue, go outside, and come back. So go if you want to tailgate. Go tailgate. I know people tailgate outside of Kansas all the time during the race weekend. So, I just don't get it. I was even talking. We had a person who went to the Cup race, And I texted him. I was like, "Is it me or is there a lot of empty seats?" Because I'm watching the in-car camera of Tyler Reddick, and it looks like there's not a lot of people. He said,
Yep.
on the straightaways, jam-packed. Corners, completely empty. I was like, that is
Which is
crazy.
crazy for Bristol for a beautiful day
Yeah.
for a Bristol Cup race, and it is sparse. I was noticing that same thing, partner, where you look at the crowd and there's holes in it, like it's thin. Like it wasn't. I was watching the old. Everyone watches the old when Dale Jr. won. There's Bristol, baby, dude. You can't fit another soul in that building. Like it's insane. Like the whole system with tickets being expensive, ticket prices on these apps adding, $35 convenience fees, that blows, that chews into people's budget for it. There's your truck race from shitty Ticketmaster fees and stuff like that. But yeah, dude, I was with you, man. I kind of felt kind of sad. I was like, dude, like it's people are starting to reflect on it and go, how we could just watch it at home this year. Oh, but Dad, we used to go every year. It's like it ain't the same sport. It ain't nearly as crazy. People are starting to pick up on that. When you watch the race today, which we're going to get into after we talk a little more about the Xfinity race, I kind of can't blame you. I kind of can't blame you. You go to buy a single ticket somewhere in the nosebleeds. Bristol tickets probably 75, $80, 70-ish plus, $10, $12 convenience fee. There's 88 plus, $100 plus parking totaled up for what to watch conveyor belt racing with cars that you can't fucking burn the right rear if you wanted to, with cars that you can't snap loose if you wanted to. I kind of get it, which sucks. It sucks to see the sport hemorrhaging itself, especially with how cool Xfinity is and how great the racing is there. People still don't show up for that either.
Yeah, and I agree. I was in the situation. Me and you were supposed to go to the Kansas race this year, and I told you straight up, I don't think I'm going to be able to go just financially. There, with my concussion, I got some personal stuff going on, and I just was like, I was defeated. And everybody was like, "Oh, why don't you just go to the fall race?" Well, I'm going to Chicago while the fall race is here. So I was like, man, like that kind of sucks. I wanted to go, and like you said, the ticket prices are expensive. But you know, in their defense, not with the ticket prices, just in NASCAR in general, they do. Or well, not maybe NASCAR, just the drivers in general. They do a lot. Like I during last year's fall race, I met so many drivers outside of the track. I met Ryan Blaney. I got to hang out with a bunch of different drivers and different I used to race with somebody in a league, and now he's a tire changer for one of the truck teams. So I got to hang out with him, got to experience some cool stuff. Dontre Graves, the photographer for Tyler Reddick, did an amazing stuff for me, and I got to hang out with Tyler for a little bit. So I'm not saying everybody's going to have that same experience. I'm just saying there is moments that, like, rather if the racing is shitty or not, you're going to have a great time if you go to any track. Like the Martinsville, I would love to go to Martinsville and have a $2 shitty ass hot dog. Okay, I would like to go to Bristol where I feel like I'm literally on top of the cars. I want to go to Talladega because it's Talladega. I would like to go to a Coke 600 race because again, it's Coke 600. I would like to go to whatever, rather it's Phoenix, Homestead, Las Vegas, whoever's going to have the championship race, just to say I was there when Tyler Reddick won his first championship. Stuff like that to talk about. The racing might not be great, but you can still have great experiences. Like, I've met so many great people. I'm addicted to this taco truck now because this taco truck was in the Kansas Speedway last year, and I just happened to be like, oh, Poppy's Tacos. Their logo is Poppy's Tacos, and it's a lip biting or a teeth biting a lip. I was like, it can't get any better than that. So, I get it. I get where everybody's saying, oh, the tickets, the racing sucks, all this and that. Okay, great. Go to your local dirt track. Go to your local asphalt track. I don't care if it's, 45 minutes away. Go. Okay? If you are a supporter of racing, go. Okay? I want people to jump around and experience these young, talented drivers like Josh Berry, who was racing late models and everything. Dale Jr. found him, put him in a super late model, dominated there, and then now he's a Cup Series winner. So, I just I don't know. It's frustrating to have people be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna go because the racing sucks." You don't have to go because the racing sucks. Just go to have fun. Like Talladega, like the amount of people that just go to get absolutely drunk and just kids, cover your ears. But the amount of people handing out beads because they get to see it's some pair of titties, like that is awesome. Like I don't think any other track does that. I have not seen it at Daytona or Kansas. So, but these tracks in general do a lot. Like I know Kansas and Talladega, like especially Kansas, like people that have RVs will park in the infield like the day before the track actually opens to the public, and they'll have a party. They'll have a concert for the people that are already there. I'm like, man, I'm so jealous right now. I like, just to be super drunk, having some barbecue, having a great time, listening to country music that I don't like, and just, just damn, I'm here. That's awesome. And everybody outside could suck a dick. That's awesome. I don't know. Getting into the Cup race. First things first. HBO Max. What the fuck? What the absolute fuck? Okay? You're paying almost $12 to watch your favorite driver, listen to your favorite driver, listen to your favorite driver's team. And today, HBO Max says, we're not going to flip that switch on so you can listen to the in-car radio and whatnot. You're just going to listen to the engine roar. Why? Well, you bought these rights. We couldn't do it on the NASCAR website, and it was very frustrating, and a lot of people are pissed off. A lot of people are pissed off because there's people that spend a lot more money to watch these races on HBO Max, to listen to the scanners. I had to spend an extra $6, so therefore I can listen to Tyler Reddick and the crew chief and the spotter on the app. Why? There has been so many issues with HBO Max recently, from the glitch of scoring and the timing scoring not updating, telemetry is all messed up. They freeze the amount of laps. It's just man, I was just so frustrated. It kind of like sucked like my energy and my entertainment out of me for a little bit. I'm like, man, I don't really want to watch it now because now I can't. I don't want to pay $6. Why?
Yeah.
I already pay for HBO Max. Like, I don't know. It was very frustrating.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm somebody that still has the NASCAR audio app subscription on my phone. I know why, because I hate hearing the engine audio, and I hate how there's no mixing ability between engine audio and spotter communication with HBO Max. If somebody from there can please hear us, put two sliders, one with like a motor emoji, like a check engine light, and one with like a headset emoji, and have different sliders to be able to pull down the engine noise, because you can't hear. Tell us how the car is feeling. Like it sucks. Like it's really stupid, and it serves no purpose. So I mute that on the HBO. So I just have the in car, and then I have an earbud in with, like you said, the NASCAR subscription. But that goes to another point of why people don't come to this shit. And trust me, I'm all about supporting the local tracks and supporting every series of racing leaders, because if you don't support it, it'll go away. And I'm looking at HBO Max, and I'm looking at all these different streaming out. But Xfinity qualifying is on the CW, but the very next thing on track is on Prime with qualifying. Like, I don't have Prime. I'm not gonna buy Prime to watch practice and qualifying for a fucking Cup Series. Have it all on one thing. If it's Fox Sports, have it be Fox Sports for every Cup saying if you want to do the Xfinities on CW, which I hate, keep it all together. It's so dumb. Like there's so many different apps you have to fucking have to be able to follow the weekend. And yeah, CW has it, and then right after transitioning to Cup stuff, you can't watch it, so I have to have the NASCAR app with PRN radio, and I hear the on track stuff as told by them. If you can't have eyes easily come to something, if there's any barrier to entry of anything with anybody, it could be you want a cookie, but there's like a big heavy thing on top of the bowl. It's like, no, I'm okay. Like sometimes little things can deter people from wanting to watch it, and that's one of them. So it's just frustrating. That's beside the point. That was talked about, years ago when shit was getting divided. But it all ties in every single weekend now, if not more than ever. But to the point of HBO Max sucking, I've had issues with it too, where timing and scoring has been fucked up, and you're not sure who's a lap down, who's not a lap down. Things are like off. It just yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
One thing that was a big talk was the PJ1 and the sweepers. So PJ1, they did it with Bristol very long time ago, and they continue to do it. And then they did a couple other tracks. I know Kentucky was one. I think Martinsville was another, and so on and so forth. So PJ1 is the sticky stump stints that they put at a certain part of the corner, mainly on the bottom, to allow these guys to have grip, to allow them to have some sort of control in the corner. Well, because of that, in the first stage and part of the second stage, if not the entire race, everybody was really cautious. Everybody rode the bottom. It was bumper to bumper. It looked like a Talladega race at a Bristol. We had somebody there, boots on ground, and he said that he might not even come back to the fall race because of how shitty the racing was. I don't know if it was the tires. I don't know if it's the car. I don't know if it's the PJ1. I think, to be honest with you, get rid of the PJ1. I love tracks like Kansas, like Charlotte, like Homestead, like Michigan, and Chicagoland back in the day. These multi-groove tracks where you see a guy dominate riding the fucking wall, and then all of a sudden another guy comes ripping the bottom and passes them. They don't do a slide job, they just rip the bottom, and then they're just standing still. I think Bristol is one of those tracks that can have multi grooves, but you're putting PJ1 and everybody's going to want to use it. And I know you're going to talk about it, the tire issue. It seemed like because of the PJ1 maybe, or just the tires in general, weren't wearing out, so there was no reason for anybody to push it. They were like, oh, well, my tire's not going to do anything, so why push it? Let somebody else, screw up or take a different line, and I'll just, sneak in on the bottom and take it. It was very frustrating to watch. There was a couple times that I saw some wiggle towards the end of stages. I saw people riding the top and diving down, but then after the stage, the sweepers would come out and sweep everything above the PJ1, and it was just like it was a brand new track. You couldn't get up there. There was no grip. There was no nothing. Why are you taking the sweepers and sweeping the middle of the fucking track? There's nothing there besides marbles. Let these cars, I understand if there's a wreck. I understand, I mean, I don't even like when they come out during the stages. There's no wreck. Leave the marbles there. Let these cars get, wiggly. Let these cars get stupid tight. Let these guys who get paid millions and millions and millions of dollars to race a car and struggle. I think, I even told you this. This car is absolutely very crappy. It is the worst car. Like, you could put a toddler in it, and the toddler could probably run, just as well as Kyle Larson. And no offense to Kyle Larson, okay? Greatest guy to ever, walk on water. But these cars absolutely suck. There's no passing. They are so bulky. We've seen guys get seriously injured just from backing it into a wall. And, you go to a Gen 6 car, you're like, oh, that was nothing. Like, you see Austin Dillon flip into a catch fence and nearly die because Brad Keselowski doesn't see the car sticking upside down and just runs into whatever. But it's just like I don't know. I don't like these cars. I don't like the fact that you are limiting these these engineers and these people building these cars to only do certain things. I don't know what you do. I don't know. I think everybody was so hyped about these cars. Everybody was. And I'm probably one of the few that was like, why? Why are we taking what Gen 6 is? Yes, you have Kyle Larson win 20 races. You had Kevin Harvick winning 20 races. You had Kyle Busch winning 20 races. You have Mark Truex winning 20 races. But that's because they had the material. They had the guys that would bust their ass. They would be there in there 6 in the morning to midnight, building cars, building engines, building chassis, building everything. And now you're taking that away, and you're like, oh, well, let's just. Everybody enjoys watching slot car racing. Let's just do that in real life. That's what it was. That's what it's been. Even Homestead was even that. It was just like there has not been one race besides Coda where I'm like, damn, that was a great race. Coda was the only race, and that was because Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, and Tyler Reddick were all sitting there, and they were pressuring each other to make a mistake. Or William Byron too, sorry. They were all pressuring each other to make a mistake. There was no arrow blocking. There was nothing that these guys could do that these cars are meant to do. They were breaking every rule that this car restricts you to do. And it's just like, why? Why? I just go back to the Gen 6 cars. Like, fuck it. I don't understand why everybody's like, oh, the new Gen cars are so good. Name me one thing that's good. Name me one thing that's good. Besides, it looks good.
First of all, the number placement also, I still hate it. It changes the pivot point of the car, makes them look like they're just crazy tight and like really front ended. Anyway, see, that's what you call a race car. That's a race car. That's the last good race car. I'm with you, partner. I'm gonna try really hard not to make this like a 20-minute rant because there's a lot I could say, but to the point of multi-groove racetracks, people would have to be able to fabricate, like you said, literally midnight, 6 in the morning, fabricating, welding metal, like literally cutting sheets of metal. Like there was dudes that did that, like from fucking scratch. Now you don't have that. Okay, great, whatever. But there is to be people would have to build setups to run certain things. You mentioned Chicagoland. It'd be like, oh, his car was set up to run the bottom. He cannot run the top with any kind of fucking pace. Literally, I made it to do this because of this multi-lane. I think this is the best strategy. You don't have that anymore. Everyone knows the optimum way of doing shit. The car is it's the worst thing ever engineered for racing, I think. I think it's been long enough now to where teams have like tried everything they can to exploit shit, but it's just that bad. Like people are getting hurt, first of all. No crumple zones. It hits like a truck when you hit the wall. Very jarring. And horsepower, there isn't any. The underbody aero, awful. And just to the point of like, what am I trying to say here? With the PJ1 and they said, is it the cars? Is it the track? Is it PJ1? What caused it? It's a mixture of all of it. And they're trying to sell you on this, oh, it needs to be 88 degrees or cooler for the PJ1 to take effect and track temperature. What kind of gimmick are we trying to substitute good racing for? I mean, I was listening to PRN radio and they did a very good breakdown. They had Andrew Curlin down there looking at tires and talking to people, and the tires were becoming like powder. They said it wasn't coming off and cording like how it did before, like similar but worse. They said the rubber coming off was like powder. So what they were saying was there's only 4 feet of PJ1 on the bottom. You really could only ever get your left sides on it. And if it was a cool day in practice, so the PJ1 never quite I guess, warmed up and became the tacky substance it was supposed to be. Instead, it just covered the concrete, and the tires themselves were rolling across the surface of that a little bit and like wounding up and turning into powder. And if we're relying, first of all, you can see what the tire looks like, right? Goodyear, you haven't figured it out yet. All right, you want NASCAR so damn bad. Well, make a damn NASCAR tire because another company, Hoosier, Pirelli, somebody else will come and make a really damn good one. I think who is it? Hoosier that has Arca that that who does like. Come on, dude! Like
General
you're
Tire.
running out of chances. Yeah, you're running out of chances, Goodyear, because you look at the cover of these cars, and maybe it's a car issue with the loads and all the wheelbase widths and all this fucking bullshit. When the tire wore, it wore to like a really wide cording pad. It's like, oh, what the hell is underneath this tire? Like, why do you have to build it like that? I know that damn well isn't what Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6 ran as their tire looked like. But to the point of not being able to pass. Watching Brad's in car, he had 15 or 16 lap fresher tires than Austin Cindric could not close the gap at all. Crew chief was yelling at Brad, you got to keep going. You got to go. You have 15 lap fresher tires. And you could tell he couldn't do anything a fuck about it. Tires did not matter. Like you said, stage one, people were kind of timid, not sure. And then once people took their tires off at the end of stage one, they realized, oh, we're good. Yeah, we're fine. And then just it became a normal shitty next gen race where no one can pass anybody and it becomes just slot cars. Awful. Literally a miserable race if you're a fan from anybody other than Kyle Larson.
You know what's not miserable though?
What's up?
Non-typical designs. As always, this episode is brought to you by Non-Typical Designs, your one-stop shop for custom race graphic wraps and sim racing liveries. Jeez, gosh, I need to stop drinking this delicious monster. Whether you're tearing up on the track in real life or dominating the virtual world in iRacing, Non-Typical Designs has you covered for your top-tier designs that make you stand out from the competition. From wild color scheme to slick professional looks, they do it all. And the best part, affordable pricing, unmatched attention to detail. So if you want to look fast standing still, check out Non-Typical Designs today. Find them on social media, Twitter or X at NONTYP Design. That is non-type design. Tell them the 645 show sent you. We have something, or I guess we have something in the works. I can tell you a little bit more, but we'll save that for the iRacing stuff here in a few moments. No cup race next week. I don't think Xfinity or trucks are racing next week as well because it is Easter. But I could double check for you.
While you're doing that, partner,
They are
speaking of
at
what you're talking
Rockingham.
about.
Huh?
Okay. Is that where Casey Kane's running?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Hey, at least we'll have that to look forward to, something to talk about. But while you're pulling that up, I just got the tweet notification from Jeff Gluck here talking to the point of this. You've probably seen this tweet. He goes, probably overreacting, but it's pretty disappointing to have paid a bunch for those Max in-car cams, only to immediately have the price jacked up in order to keep them, only to then have the scanners not working on them today. Very cool with the base. Yep. Because it was what, $12? Now it's what, $16 a month?
Something like that,
So you
yeah.
have that for the
Yep.
BR Sport add-on, and so it's $4 a race. For you can't have different sliders for the audio, which is retarded, and for not even to work, which is even worse.
Yep.
Like that's a dude. I'm telling you, NASCAR is doing things very wrong. Like you and me are the last diehard bastion of people that jumped ship from our favorites growing up because we loved this sport so much and what they built, the ancestors that walked so we could run. They're starting to lose you and me. Not that we're gonna stop watching racing anytime soon. At least I hope it doesn't get that bad. But it's getting to that point where we're bitching every single Sunday about this, Derek. It's getting to the point where every single Sunday it comes down to this next gen car sucking with their no passing, tires not really mattering, and you're left wondering what the hell. Like where you qualify is where you finish, and if not, it's within a couple spots. It's a joke. It's a joke. Every Sunday is becoming a brutal. As part of me is dying as a Kez fan because this has been awful, man. Like you get to see the effects of dirty air, and it's the most frustrating thing on board to watch ever.
Yeah, and it I don't even know if I would be if Tyler Reddick was winning so many races. I don't know if I would still be ecstatic or how I am now. I don't know. Probably I'd be like, this car sucks, but it's great to see my driver win. Um, they need to fix this car. Everybody talks about, oh, it's the tire, it's the tire, it's the tire, it's the tire. Maybe it is the tire. I don't know. I think it's more of the car. I think they need to take that fucking underbody, take it off, let everything, take the diffuser off. Like, there's no reason. We bitch and complain that they took horsepower away. Oh, okay. You gave me that X. You're like, what?
No, no, I thought of something that I wanted to say.
Go ahead.
If NASCAR is so fucking scared about safety and they put this underbody arrow shit to make cars hard to drive while they're not going as fast, first of all, you can clearly tell in that design room nobody's ever fucking been on iRacing because they're all probably 65-year-old assholes. That's not NASCAR racing. If you're so concerned about safety, how come IndyCar with the same underbody package goes 220 at fucking oval tracks with an open cockpit? Why are you scared about safety? The last person who died was forever ago. People were wadding it up in the fucking catch fence in the Gen 6 car and walking out going when Austin Dillon came out of the car. There wasn't a speed issue. It wasn't, the cars were built fine. Like you said, backing into the wall, and then you'd see the trunk hanging down, you'd see the fuel cell, but everything would be fine. Car would be damaged, but it wouldn't be a hard hit. Gen 6 plus safer barrier equals good racing and safety. But no, you have the shitty underbody, which isn't even keeping people on the ground, by the way. That was the other counterpoint to it. It's going to keep people on the ground from flipping. Ask Ryan Preece. Not true, if not even worse. And IndyCar also on Fox, so it's not like we don't want anyone to die on our network. IndyCar flies 230 miles an hour around ovals. Why can't we? We're in a closed cockpit. Sorry, I ran over, but that underbody shit was how the cars are set up now. Listen to Jeremy Bowens. This is segueing into the iRacing part, talking about just how my brain is hearing the guy talk about setups and adjustments now. I've always heard, and from Matt McCall and these things, like these things are very sensitive to weird shit. Like you can't adjust on them the same way you would adjust on a previous any other generation race car from the beginning of mankind. Hearing Brad talk about I need this, and you hear Jeremy Bowens make an adjustment I would make on an Xfinity car, which is, okay, it's tight. I'm going to take some out of the right front, and it's a little loose off. I'll take some out of the right rear. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. But I'm hearing this, I'm going, I don't know much about these next-gen cars, IRL, but I think that's the wrong adjustment for some weird reason. It sounds too easy. Sure enough, Brad comes on the radio. I don't know, these adjustments aren't it, man. We got to go back on it. This is not good. There's something with these cars where if you get the fucking diffuser and the underbody tilted just weirdly enough, it won't work no matter how you adjust shit. We're going to take some wedge out of it. I'm like, what is this? Gen 4? Taking some wedge out and lowering tire pressure? Nah, man. It's all fucking shitty aero balance, which at Bristol shouldn't matter. All right, rant over. Take it away from your partner. My blood's getting too hot.
I mean, there's not much left to talk about. I mean, they need to do something because these cars suck. The racing sucks. It's sad to say, knowing that I'm not a road course guy, that our best race so far is Coda, which was a road course. So, like I said, Cup Series is off because of Easter. They will be back at Talladega, and then Texas, and then Kansas. That's your next 4 weeks. Rockingham is next for the Xfinity and Truck Series. We're not going to have a live stream just because Cup Series, we don't really watch trucks. We don't really watch Xfinity. We just catch up on what happened, write some notes down, go from there. But I'm sure I'll be watching or listening to the Rockingham because Rockingham's nice. I like Rockingham. So, yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you tell them why you like Rockingham.
I don't like Rockingham right now. We'll talk about that in the iRacing stuff. I was good, and then I saw the video that was posted on social media. I'm like, man, what can I do? What can I do? Yeah, so we're taking Easter off. Spend time with our loved ones and our family and our friends. We're gonna try to figure something out for the Talladega race. I will be out of town, so I'm gonna try to figure something out. So therefore, me and Aaron can still do a live stream. But I'm gonna figure some stuff out, and hopefully we can get it. If not, we're gonna miss that one, and then we'll do Texas, and then hopefully I'm back in time to get back here for the live stream of the Kansas race, and I can tell you what happened. Boots on ground, So
Yeah, you can we can do a live stream from the track on the way to the studio.
yeah, I'm just excited, dude. Great deal, man. Great deal. Shout out to Matthew, man. That was awesome, saving me some money. Stay tuned. We're gonna take a quick second, and then we're gonna get back into the iRacing stuff. If you're not here for the iRacing, I don't know why you want to leave, because this is where our bread and butter is. This is, we love talking about iRacing and all the news and everything going on. Aaron over here. Aaron knows a lot about iRacing, been doing it for several years. I'm kind of his protege, his golden boy. So, so stay tuned. We're going to take a quick second, and then we'll be right back. As always, as we talked about, the 645 show is brought to you by Non-Typical Designs. Get you a paint scheme as shown on here. So I want to talk a little bit about a giveaway that me and Non-Typical Designs are doing. So for a couple races this year, I will be teaming up with K9 for Warriors, which is a great organization. They do a lot for the military veterans, firefighters, EMTs, police officers, anybody that struggles with PTSD. And what they're doing is they're going and taking these these dogs who either are homeless, in shelters, about to be euthanized, puppies, whatever, and they are hand-in-hand contact, getting certified, getting trained to be adopted and help these people that have PTSD from whatever the case may be. There are people like Nothing More, who myself and Aaron are huge fans of, that are partnering with them. They're trying to raise $300,000. They're at, last time I checked, they're at $112,000. So, and they started a couple weeks ago. So I want to see that number keep rising. And with that, and I'll have a social media post about more about it. But we're gonna do me and Non-Typical Designs are gonna be doing a raffle. You go to K9 for Warriors. Donate $15, that will get you one entry. If you do $20, that will get you two entries. Anything accumulating up will get you more entries. And if you win, you have your choice of getting some Nothing More merch, or a free paint scheme if you are an iRacer done by award-winning Colton Loomis. So the paint scheme is probably I say this all the time when I get a new paint scheme, but this paint scheme has a lot of meaning to me. With Nothing More being on the car, it's for a good cause. It looks very, very slick, and then on top of that, I have my own dog on the paint scheme. And if anybody that has been following me and that knows me personally, my dog is my everything. He is my son. I would literally give him a kidney if he needed a kidney. So I was going through a really rough time. I was going through a really bad breakup. A lot of allegations that weren't true being thrown at me. It demoralized me. I had to go to therapy for several years to kind of get my head straight. And right when I was getting my head straight, COVID happened. So right when COVID happened, I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm kind of by myself. I don't have anything to do now. The world shut down, so there's nothing I can do. So I went and adopted my dog, and to have him on the car is really, really cool. And he did an amazing job. It looks fucking sick. I can't wait to share this paint scheme to the world. We're doing a raffle for 4 races, but I'm doing, I think, like 6 or 7 races with this paint scheme, so I'm super, super excited about that.
Yeah, I've seen the. Sorry, I was looking at the eNASCAR stuff, the
Okay.
eNASCAR finishing order. But yeah, I've seen the car, and Colton did a really badass job with it. Um, Taluk is such a sweet boy. It's cool to see him go around in circles. Get the zoomies on track for real ski.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday for the first time, and not gonna lie, I kind of got a little emotional. I was like, man, this is awesome. So,
I don't blame you, partner.
shout out to Colton. So we'll talk a little about iRacing, and then our leagues, and then the Coke Series, or we'll throw in the Coke Series before whatever. So whatever you want to do. Did you do any fixed races? I didn't do any fixed races or any officials.
Nah, I haven't touched anything this week. It's been kind of a funky week. I don't touch Bristol with a 10-foot pole. I'm kind of sitting on the lead of an I rating. I don't want to just throw it away, so I'm
Did,
kind of like protecting it.
didn't we do the NIS race at Darlington? I did.
I
You did
I
too.
got wrecked. I
Yeah.
got wrecked.
I
Yeah, I got
I
wrecked.
I got wrecked too. I had somebody pancake me into the wall, and it broke a toe link, and it told me I had too much damage.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I had a guy. He either bounced off the wall or something, or there was something in a turn one, and somebody bounced off the wall into me and fucking knocked me around. So
Yeah.
iRacing hasn't been very kind. But next gen racing, even in iRacing's hard as fuck. It's what I think that's what makes me and you hate the next gen cars so bad is because we kind of like know what they're talking about. Like we're kind of like, yeah, I have the same frustrations, man. Like this thing blows if you're within 3 car lengths of somebody. I get it.
Yeah. Can't pass anybody. Um, you got the eNASCAR stuff pulled up, so
I
let's
do.
talk about that.
Yeah, they were also at Rockingham, race 5 for the NASCAR series, so big week for Rockingham. That's basically all we did in terms of leagues this week, this past week. So, it's favorable. Tucker Minter absolutely went ham. He led 100 out of 200 laps. Good job for the minty fresh Tucker Minter, the 97 Esports William Byron machine. Colin Bowden in the 6 for RFK Racing finished second. Michael Guest finished fourth. Malik Ray wrapping out the top 5. Colin Keister 6. Dylan Duval. And for P7, Dylan Alt. P8, Connor Euroshak, ninth. Graham Bolin, 10th. My personal favorite, Casey Kerwin finished 25th. And your guy, Michael Cozy Jr. finished 34th.
Yeah, he had a
So
bad race.
yeah, I heard it was a bad race for a lot of guys. I went back to watch it. There was an issue on the opening restart, I believe. I think the leader on the inside either spun his tires, missed a gear, something
I think
weird
he missed
happened.
a gear.
Yeah, something went weird up front. I was watching it from Casey's perspective just the other night, and then Casey got damaged, and everyone got damaged, and then it became a single file run the rest of the race with like damaged cars. So kind of almost like IRL became like a conveyor belt.
Yeah, and especially with this scan of Rockingham, it is very, very bumpy. So I can only imagine how the next gen cars are with how bumpy that track is, especially turn 3 and 4. You're so God, that seems miserable from
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
our racing on. Well, the trucks wasn't bad. The trucks handled very smooth.
Xfinity drives better than the trucks did.
I think I had more fun in the truck series than I did the Xfinity series, and I actually finished better in the Xfinity series than the truck series.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that is a tough place. Like you can imagine the Xfinity or the Cup car is just super stiff.
well, the problem is,
Oh,
so like real life, because I was talking to Brandon Willard, who is the league official for Mystic Racing League, but he was saying that they repaved Rockingham 2 years ago. So the fact that iRacing hasn't gone back there and got a rescan of it
oh wow.
is very like what are we doing? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Hmm? What are you
We need to
doing?
get that, especially with fucking Xfinity going there next week.
Yeah, Xfinity intros. Yeah, yep.
And like you would think that maybe they'll get a scan in this week when right before the track opens or something. That's kind of what I've
Or
heard how they do
after
it.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or after. Because we need that, and NASCAR 25 needs that, so they need to figure that out pretty soon.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Rockingham that's a tough racetrack, man. Like it's very hard. It's very tough to get the car to work. You figured it out. You did very well in your league races.
Yeah. Still kicking myself. So we'll talk about the Truck Series race. And then we'll talk about the Fall Creek Plumbing. So
Are you signed up for NIS?
no, no,
Okay.
no. We got
Didn't know
5 minutes.
if you wanted to stream and do it and
No, no. Um, so before the race started, I was promoted to an admin in the Mystic Racing League. Super excited. I'll be race controlling cup races. Very, very cool. Very excited. I think it kind of gave me piqued my interest in racing again, because for a very long time I was an admin. I was a league owner. So that's how me and Aaron met. I can't remember. Did you go on Rocket Speed Shop and find me, or did we meet?
yeah, yeah, that might have been what it was.
Yeah,
I remember I Googled like NASCAR 14 leagues or whatever, and Rocket Speed Shop came up. Like, this seems like a reputable website.
yeah.
Then a message later. I'm not even sure how I messaged you. It might have been email,
No, it would have been PlayStation.
PlayStation
Yeah,
message.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Um, yeah, so that's pretty cool. Me and Cody Giles were added to the team, so now there's 10 of us. So I actually got to review something on Monday night, the ARCA series. They did a race at Talladega, and I won't mention who was involved, but there was an incident where somebody had, I think, either a 14 or 15X going into the final lap, and he ended up bumping the person in front of them, and they looked like they went to go block, but when they got the push, they wiggled and then caused a wreck, and because of that, the dude got like an 18X and then lost his second place finish. And my thing is, if you know that there is a penalty chart of you can only have this amount of incidences before you get a penalty, don't get involved in wrecks. It's Talladega, like, plain and simple. Don't go through the grass unless you absolutely have to. So treat it like an official. That's what I said. I treat it like an official, and the dude was mad. I understand. I mean, I would have been mad too, but at the same time, I would have been mad at myself. I've been like, man, like, you should have been paying attention to your incident points. So yeah, and then the Truck Series race is now the 9222 Truck Series. So Alex Pollock and his business, who makes paint schemes. It's kind of weird because a paint scheme making business is the sponsor of the series, and then my main sponsor is a different paint scheme, and your main sponsor is a different paint scheme. So it's kind of like, as I told Alex, I was like, it's kind of when like Monster was the main series for Cup, and then you had like guys racing like Mountain Dew and Pepsi cars.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like but yeah. How'd your race go?
I don't particularly remember too much about the truck race. I don't remember. I think we did well. I remember we finished what, fourth and fifth,
Yeah,
or am I thinking it's a different one? Yeah, we finished fourth and fifth.
yeah,
That's a fun track when it goes green for a while and you're able to like actually reap the benefits of your driving in the front half of the run. Um, yeah, I don't remember a ton, man. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I don't know. I remember having a pretty decent race around people. I just couldn't find a ton of speed. Like I wasn't like one of the fastest dudes there. I'm not sure if it's because I'm scared to turn the steering wheel. Like I think there you have to turn the steering wheel a lot because for those moments where it's like skipping across, like you have to have those wheels turned to, kind of grab. I'm kind of a bitch and turn. I just want to save my right front. I don't turn as far. Where I think if I would have been more over there, I think I might have found something. But um, yeah, tell me about your race. I know you had two good races in a row.
Yeah, so I qualified second, but for some reason I thought the drivers meeting was 7:30, not 7:20 for some reason. So because I was late, I ended up having to start in the back. So I qualified second, went to the back, fought my way to I think like third in stage one. There was a part where Aaron and I were side by side, and you were chatting with your chat, and you're like, "Oh, this guy's gonna door me." I'm like, I am not. You're like,
That's right.
you're like,
I
oh,
didn't know it was you. I had no idea it was you.
exactly what you said. You're like, oh, I didn't know it was you. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah,
So,
had I known it was you, I would have been like, "Oh, I'm good. Like, I'm actually probably all right. Like, I could do whatever I want. You
yeah.
know, he's not gonna have an issue." But
So,
okay, I'm starting to jog my memory a little bit because there was some times where there was a couple moments where I had to use my sixth sense and realize, "Oh, this guy's about to crank the wall off too. I better peel off him." Sure enough, bang! Oh, I'm glad I peeled off him. Like, I'm glad I gave him, room. So I remember there were a lot of people smacking the wall off too.
yeah.
Remember that was an issue for people.
Yeah. It was very, very tight coming off of two, especially if you're side by side. And we had a lot of cautions in stage one, but when we went green, that's when, like, I think I was not to toot my own horn, because you know that I don't like doing that. Um, I was probably the fastest truck, going from 25th to third in stage one in 30 laps with the amount of cautions we had, unbelievable. And then I ended up speeding and had
I
to,
remember as I said, "Hey, do the little things right. Don't speed." I hear I sped. Like, you're kidding. I
yeah,
thought you were joking.
yeah, sped. I sped midway through the pit road. Just trying to get that extra, you know, seconds of just trying to beat people. So started second, had to go, or qualified second, had to start 25th. Got third in stage one, restarted 24th or whatever in stage one or stage two, and I think I got sixth in stage two because me and Cody were side by side, and I was like, oh, he's just gonna like go into turn three, and he's just gonna wash up, and I'm gonna be there because I'm running the top. So I was ahead of him, and we're coming to like three to go or something like that with the stage, and I'm up top, and I kind of let him go. I was slowly getting back to it, and he was just like that much ahead of me, and Evan Janik ended up getting into the wall, and a caution came out, and I lost one stage point just because of that much. That
I think I
much.
was the one that I was involved in the wreck. I think I got
Yeah.
into somebody or somebody got into me. I don't remember the situation because it all kind of blends together. But I remember in stage one, I didn't take tires,
Yeah.
and that was kind of where I was like, okay, if I know anything about league racing, it's whoever has a set of tires with like any amount of laps to go. Apparently, will be fine. So I didn't take tires at the end of stage one because there was so many cautions. Um, and then yeah, I was the guy that got into whoever we got into. I think that's what it was. That Janet got sent into the wall. He bounced off the wall into me, and it was one of those ones where I could, like, no human could have gotten out of the way. So I get into the back of him and caused a bit of a wreck, which sucks that I took some stage points away from you essentially. But I mean, it is what it is. I think I only had like 30 odd seconds of damage,
Yeah.
or something like that. Or no, it was like a minute and a half or something like that. I didn't get it all done in the first go around, but I was able to get it wrapped up
Later in the
for
race.
the remainder of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then final stage, me and Brandon, not Willard, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but we were racing. He was first, I was second, and I had a feeling it was going to go green flag run, and I started pushing the clutch in, and ended up falling back to like fifth or sixth, and yeah, no caution. We stayed green, and for the very first time in my iRacing career, I saved too much, which pissed me off. I had a hard time kind of sleeping on that one of like, damn, dude, like you're usually the one that doesn't save enough fuel and runs out before the end of the race, and now you're here, you save too much. So I had a lap and a half in my tank, and yeah, it kind of frustrates me that I did that. You want to talk about the incident that happened towards the end of the race, or you want to skip over that?
I mean, I won't get into all the details of the hauler. Um, but I got involved in a racing deal at the end, and it got me thinking about like I know I could see where you've had this thought before. I was able to be like, okay, I get what you mean about being like, do I want to fucking do this? Like, do I want to race in a league? Like, I know that you've had that sensation like several times, many times, because it can be that frustrating. And I still don't know yet. Not even to try to be dramatic. Like I'm still, I'm gonna use this off week for the Cup Series and all that. Like, I'm just gonna kind of sit and just kind of think about shit because I got involved in a wreck. Some say I caused it. Some could say it's hard racing. Some people could say it's a racing deal. It wasn't like it was an intentional wreck. It was just hard. I had been checking up for people all day long, so it wasn't like I was just a guy that was reckless. It was guy was in front of me. I had a run on him coming across the front stretch going into one, and I didn't want the bottom seam. I know that's not where the car was going to be at this point when I was gaining on this guy in front of me tenths a lap. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to sit behind him. I trusted his ability to run a lane. I saw the lane he was running the lap prior, so I figured, okay, he's behind a guy. I'm gonna use an offensive, aggressive move of driving and just kind of pin him behind the slower guy. It's like kind of hard racing, not 101, but it is a tactic that's used all the time, especially in cars that are hard to pass. Trucks are kind of hard to pass at times. So he's behind this guy. I'm playing off of him staying in the upper lane. I guess I expected too much. That sounds insulting, but it's kind of I don't know how else to say it. I've raced around dudes with really high I ratings and the Carson Hosevars, the Caruths, the Kerwins, Novak, Alt. You've seen me race around those guys. You know I don't really hit anybody very often. I actually despise hitting people. Um, and that I race wheel to wheel with guys really hard at a level above 3.5K. You find out really quickly that you have to, otherwise you'll finish 18th every time. So it uh, it was just kind of one of those things where I have a run on him and I'm pulling up and I'm trying to put my right front at his left rear. And my idea is that I'm just going to keep him there, force him to take the L and force him to lift and have to be real slow. It's a dickhead move, I know, but it's hard racing and I didn't plan on ever getting into him. But when I made the move, right? So if he's up here and I'm making the move on the front stretch, I make the move to come down here, and then he pulls off. Like it was a very abrupt left turn to pull off of the guy that he was behind. He kind of had a right to do that, I suppose. But the reason he admitted to saying was that he didn't have or didn't want to run it the top lane and rip the fence, and that he gave me the whole bottom half of the track. Where that's a fair argument. That is 100% a fair argument. But it was just frustrating wherever people I got yelled at in the hauler, and I won't divulge too much. Maybe me and Derek will talk about it after the stream. But race officials didn't like the move because I essentially ended his race. And it wasn't intentional. Like you could go back and watch my stream. I said that guy blocked me late as fuck because that's what it felt like. He pulled off that quickly to where it seemed like he was trying to block me, and kind of got into him, and I guess ruined his day. And not for nothing, I've had my day ruined by plenty of moves that are 1,000 times worse than that. So just kind of have those moments where you're like, dang, I don't know. And first of all, I'm not sure if I'm even welcome back. The talk after in the hauler didn't really go that great, but I see both sides of it. I had to defend myself in terms of, hey, I thought you were gonna stick it up there, man. I really did. I went back and watched it for my stream. I watched it and really analyzed it and just I don't know what I would have done differently. I didn't want the bottom. I didn't want a slide job and get tight across the bumps and ruin a bunch of momentum. I mean, if you want to run high level stuff and you want to run competitively with some of the best guys in the world, you have to just marginally gain every lap. And for me to do that, I had to run them tight. So that's all I'll really say about that. People on my stream who were there, they saw the incident, and no one really. It didn't really seem like it was even a big deal. It's like a racing thing. I didn't even really like crank him. He pulled down on me really fast. I couldn't. No one could react in time, and that kind of sucks. I didn't want to end that guy's race, but he sent me a message after, and we talked about it. So anyway, I don't really get into too many things in iRacing too bad because I don't do a lot of league racing for that very reason. Because it is the same guys every week, and it's kind of like, people can form cliques and clubs really quickly, and people can, kind of have, like it could be a 7-on-1 situation in terms of a racing incident. So that's kind of why I've always kind of stood away from leagues because that just kind of naturally happens. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but that was that. So I know we were kind of probably wanting to touch on that for anybody who listens, but didn't want to wreck anybody. But I did want to defend myself and say that I was racing very hard, yeah, but it wasn't anything malicious.
Yeah, I think the Holler situation could have been handled differently, um, amongst everybody that was in there. Um, I think if you and Christian, because I've had issues with Christian too. I've gotten into him and he gotten into me. Um, like he even texted me after my second place finish uh, in the Fall Creek National Series. He's a good guy. I think you and him should have talked it out, not over text, but like actually like in a chat and talked. What happened in the holler just it felt like everybody ganged up on you and wouldn't let you talk, wouldn't let you get get your voice heard. In anytime you were talking, you were cut off. It just was like it could have been handled differently. Um,
Yeah,
I,
that was kind of frustrating because I knew there was guys that weren't even involved in the situation that were cussing at me and saying, get the fuck out, blah 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 blah, and I was trying to come from a point of like, I, it sounds demeaning, and I meant for it to at the time, but the sentiment still remains of like, I gave you the respect that I thought you were gonna race it up there. I didn't know that you were scared to race it up there and you needed to run the middle. For real, like I've made that pass a lot of times that night with people that stuck it up there, whether based on skill or just they ran too hard and ran up into the wall. But I've trusted like you're not going to come down, and he was one of the few guys that came down at a weird spot in the track at a shitty time late in the race. But yeah, the Holler thing kind of bummed me out a little bit because I I want the league to flourish and I want it to go well, but to have everybody kind of call you a piece of shit and stuff kind of sucked. I think that kind of
yeah,
hurt my little feelings, man. But it
yeah.
was
Like
what
I
it was.
said, I think it could have been if you and Christian talked it out one on one. I think it would have handled a lot better. Um, I've been asked several times over the past Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days now, if you were going to come back and race. Um, completely up to you. I understand your side. I understand the other side. I can't really give my opinion because I'm a teammate and an admin, so it's kind of like I'm kind of
Yeah,
put in a shitty situation with it. So, but I think the only thing I can say is I think it would be it could have been different if you and Christian talked it out like in a chat and not over text message, and it's just you and him. Because Christian is a very understandable guy, and I think the fact that there was like 10 other people there and they were all just yelling all at once, it didn't mix really well. So
yeah.
but we'll move on to the national series. You did not make it. You were unavailable that night. Um, I had a very eventful race. I started second. I made it on time. Started second. Took the lead pretty early. I think like lap one actually took the lead lap one. Over Christian Barnes and Evan Janik. We were three wide coming out of turn two on the start. Um, and again, cautions come out very early. Um, I restarted first, I think twice, and that second time I jumped it just by like maybe like a foot. It was pretty fucking close that I jumped it and ended up relinquishing the lead. Went back to last, and yeah, it's that sucked. Clawed my way through the field. Me and the 29 who after the Texas race a couple weeks ago said that he was going to wreck me because he wrecked himself across my nose. Which, again, thank you to everybody who has reached out and told me that I didn't do anything wrong. So I appreciate that. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want conflict and whatnot. But that was pretty cool. I guess he's going to go to the bathroom. I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty cool. But me and the 29, we ended up going to getting off turn 2. And I thought I came up and got into him. I ended up wrecking and flipping. Not a lot of damage from a flipping car. Only like 2 minutes of optional. So I just kept repairing it. I don't think I got any stage points, just because I kept repairing and going down pit road and just, because I didn't want to burn my fast repair. Just trying to build a strategy. I did the same thing that Aaron did. I didn't take tires in stage 1, or after stage 1, so I kind of just kept going. And then once the damage was fixed, I ended up taking tires the next caution and just trying to cycle myself further up, which was a great strategy. Again, I don't think I got any stage points, but towards the end, there was a late caution with like 30 or 20 to go, and I was like, okay, like I don't want what happened at Texas to happen to me. So I pitted. Me and Christian Barnes were the only two that pitted. And we took our last sets, so we were expecting it to go green. We restarted like 15th and 16th and worked through the field with like 10 to go. I was like 2 seconds behind the leader, and I was like gaining 3/10 on everybody every lap. And it was just like 2 seconds, a second and a half, a second. And I was just like clicking. I was alien mode, doing everything I could to get up to the lead in battle. I got to 4th or 5th, and 29 ends up wrecking. And we had a 3 laps to go. I couldn't pit because I had no tires. There was no reason for me to pit. Ended up staying out, took the lead, restarted, got a good launch. And I was just trying to breathe, trying to focus, and Maximus Molina took 2 right side tires, and Jacob Cochran took 4 tires, and coming to the white flag. And I didn't notice until I saw the replay. Jacob Cochran doored Maximus out of the way in 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 try to diamond it like I've been doing, and I went too high and it just stuck there. And then that just gave him Jacob the momentum to get underneath me in 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 I tried to race him clean, and then he doored me out of the way just like he did with Maximus, and I finished second. And anytime I think about that race, anytime I look, because there has been highlights posted from either the broadcast or the league or drivers, and I'm just like, it sucks. It truly sucks that happened. It really, like, I should be happy about a second place finish, but like I just had everything right there, like falling into my lap, and it just like doesn't not today, you know. So
That's one of those ones where no matter how hard you try, you can't beat physics sometimes. And sometimes two right side tires that have grip, you can't really, you know, I don't know. It's just hard. That's a hard one.
no, so
I saw the
Jacob Cochran had 4 fresh tires, and I was like on 15 lap old tires.
but the guy that won, he had
Four,
two right sides.
4.
Oh, I thought Molina won.
No, Molina finished third.
I see.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah. So even worse, even worse. Like
yeah.
there's
So
especially at Rockingham, that's essentially what I did.
the way I look at it was if I didn't go as wide in turn 1 and 2, I would have used the bottom because he would have had to take the high side, and I would have just pinched him as much as I could to get the run off. That was the initial goal. Diamond it down, give him the high side. I run the bottom in 3 and 4, which I was killing it on the bottom, and it just, you know, I just ran too wide, and he doored me out of the way. And again, if I knew that he doored the 26, I think I would have raced him a little bit dirtier than that, because he already doored for second place, and then he doored for the win. I understand that he had
Crossed applesauce.
Yeah.
If Chris crossed applesauce, imagine what he would do to you.
Yeah. So it's like, again, I should be happy that I finished second. I should. I mean, even talking to my sponsor, Colton Loomis, I text them after every race what my finishing order was. What is going on with my screen? Holy crap! He said, "Hell of a finish. You were fighting to hold off the fresh tires," and yeah, it's just like, seeing that makes me feel a little bit better, knowing that, you know, people have invested in me and put their time and their energy into me. It just, again, just it just, I don't know. Like I said, I should be happy. I should be happy that I got second. I should, but it's just
your
like
career best finish in Mystic.
I finished second at Talladega, but that was the truck series. This is my best finish in the national series. Is
that the series you like? You want a championship, like in your heart. You want a championship more in the Xfinity car, right? Like more than trucks.
I mean, I'm the points leader in the truck series, so it doesn't. If I win both championships, cool. If I win the truck series, cool. If I win the national series, cool. If I win both championships,
Okay.
cool. Like, it just.
If you could have one or the other, what would you pick?
I don't know. I think. I mean, I would have to say the national series just because of how professional. I'm not saying the broadcasting sucks. I'm not saying that. So anybody that watches, don't come after me. I'm not saying the broadcast sucks, but the national series, in my opinion, is probably the best. On top of the sponsors I have for the national series, like, I have more eyes on me racing in the national series than anything else. So, like, I'm gonna have my dog on a national series car. Not on a truck, on the national series car. So I would assume the national series would probably be the one. It just, even if it happened in the truck series, I was frustrated myself with the truck series that I finished fourth. I was like, damn, dude, why'd you have to save a lap and a half? Like, you didn't have to save a lap and a half, Derek. All you had to do was just save like 0.1 of a lap. that was it. So I don't know. It just. I think what bothers me is that I try to race as clean as possible and not get into anyone. That with Jacob, the 84, dooring me just doesn't sit well with me. Like, you had the fresher tires, right? Like, you could easily pass me. Why do you got to door me? And then like nonchalantly, I thought I doored him. Like I didn't see the replay. I didn't do anything. Nothing. I didn't like me and him talked. I was like, "Hey man, sorry that I got into you and blah 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 blah." And then, I did my interview, and then as I'm live streaming, I went back and watched it. I was like, "Oh, he doored me. He doored me." I gave him enough room on the bottom. I think that's the thing that is like frustrating me a little bit, is the fact that if I would have tried to pass him as clean as possible, I would have ran him as close as I can. You know how I race. Like, if I have the fresher tires and I'm being aggressive, I'm trying to figure out. This is me. I will run you as close as possible without even touching you. And it just like, I think that's why people don't like when I race side by side with them, because I don't give you even an inch. I give you a centimeter. Not even that. I race you so close that I know how much I could push my car, because I put the time and the effort and the skill to figure out how far and how hard I could push my car and my truck or anything. That gives me the advantage of saying, okay, when I go into this corner, I can hold my line to this exact spot, doing this with the person on the outside or person on the inside, and run them as close as I can. And like Bristol, I know people were pissed off at me at Bristol because I would hold them down in the corners, and then they would be like, oh, he's gonna hit me, he's gonna hit me, he's gonna not even close. And then they would get on the apron and then get loose, and then I would just be like, see you later, bye. So I think that's the thing that frustrates me, is that I don't use my fenders, I don't use my doors, I don't use my car, besides getting as close as I can without touching, to get the advantage. And I get it, Rubbin's racing. Like, I think that's the thing that like frustrates me the most. I've watched that clip. I sent you the clip, and you guys can go and look at it on Slingshot Racing Network on Instagram. But I've looked at that clip and I'm like, man, like what could I have done? Like, what could I have done? Could I ran him harder? No, because he doored me anyways. So it's just like, I don't know. I got Road America this week, and this coming week for the National Series, and then I have Eldora for trucks the following week. So I got a couple races that I'm like, don't really care. Like, if I finish last, I finish last. Okay, cool. If I win, I win. Cool. But it would be cool if I could get my first ever win at Road America, because you know who got their first win at Road America?
Reddick?
Tyler Reddick. Got his first win there.
Put the sim time in, bro, and you will.
Maybe.
I was going to make a point earlier, which was, once again, there hasn't been a week that you've put sim time in properly and done badly. P2, leading the race, you can't overcome 4 fresh tires. I know you know I'm right, but the hat will land on the head at some point. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know it as well as I do. When a good track comes up, or you can make whatever track a good track for you with the proper seat time. So anyway, I just want to say that I'm proud of you in your driver development. Hearing that you finished P2 was awesome. And hearing that you were in the lead at the end and it's just a 4 tire versus no tire thing, it's like, oh, dude, like, Derek a year ago or however long ago, you would have been in that exact situation and you would have made a mistake, over drive into the corner, take yourself out of contention, or something stupid, and trying to turn hay into shit or turn hay into gold. But instead, you sound like you ran as hard as you could. Sounds like you got taken out of the equation. And I'm the same way. I run, that. Like, I wasn't that guy. I was very much a not pass, I don't want to touch you guy. I'm still that way, but now I've learned how to race close. And now I've learned how to put it really close to you. And I've learned the weaponization of that from watching Raja Karuth and those guys. And you have that. You have that natural ability to where you're not scared to put it close to somebody. You're not scared to go wheel well to wheel well with a guy. It's just a matter of, is that guy going to get too nervous and fuck it up? But anyway, just been you're gonna get a win this year, and it's gonna be awesome. And once you have one, it's gonna give you the push over the edge to win a fuckload of races. But to the point of seeding it at sim time, just once again, another good finish after good practice. But yeah, that's kind of one of those deals. In terms of like the Raja Caruth rub like racing you hard thing, because I was in the receiving end of it, and I was like, "Fucking Raja, this guy's always running people over." And to be fair, what he does is worse than what I do, because I'm still like, I still don't want to get into people. I don't like conflict, like especially on that. So like when I got into that situation, the truck race, I was like, man, you wouldn't last a minute in like a race with those guys. Like that's kind of what I wanted to say to him without sounding demeaning, but like it's why Carson hosts of our races IRL how he does, because he grew up on the sim where you have to put it wheel well to wheel well, and it makes the older guys who aren't as talented on the wheel feel insecure and, like, why is he there? He shouldn't be five wide. And Carson's like, hey, man, I go five wide all the time at NIS, top split, get fucked. And so it's kind of like there's a little bit of that. But anyway, so yeah, Road America coming up. I don't even know if I have Road America. I don't even think I have Eldora on iRacing, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So I think this
so
might be another chill week for me, unless
for
Arca's somewhere good.
the national series, the next race would be Road America, and then we have an off week, and we'll be back for the Gateway or Worldwide Technology Raceway, and then we have another week off, and then we'll go to Sonoma. The next track that I'm like circling my list would be Charlotte. That is the race that I'm looking at. Um, Nashville. I can't really talk about Italy because we might be doing something about that. But yeah, I mean, so we got that coming up, and then for the truck series, like I said, we have Eldora coming up. This coming Thursday, and then we have Worldwide Technology uh, the following week, and then Pocono May 8th. So,
Ooh, Pocono will be fun.
yeah, so Pocono, Milwaukee Mile, North Wilkesboro, which I was pretty good at in the truck series, and then Charlotte. So, a lot of tracks that I'm inexperienced on, but it's just I think talking about that national series has definitely helped me because I've kept my not my frustration but just like my thoughts inside, and it's just like, man, it sucks, it blows, again, I should be happy about a second place finish, but when you're that close, like, damn, that sucks, so it stings.
Yeah.
But that unless you have anything else you need to talk about or want
I'm
to
just
talk
gonna
about.
wrap up on the iRacing front for officials this week in the Oval. Kind of an off week. Rockingham for Xfinity and trucks. So I think your best bet for those guys who want to get iRating this week, I think it's probably going to be B fixed or B open at Rockingham. I think that's, or if you can learn how to hot lap the trucks and race every hour in the trucks at Rockingham, I think that's going to be your best bet. Cup Series goes to Talladega, so if you're looking for iRating, I'd say stick away from that place.
You'll find me there.
Arca, yeah, not me.
I'll probably
Arca
do a couple
people,
races. Sorry, I'll probably do a couple races and then be like, "Why the fuck am I doing this?" And I'll go to
yeah,
trucks and Xfinity. I mean that was perfect timing because we had the league at Rockingham, and now I'm like, okay, now I know what to do. Just door everybody out of my way. So
yeah, no shit. You and me should really grind trucks and Xfinity practice in the next couple days because you and me are good there. And if we can figure out how to hot lap and be up front 9 times out of 10 times, I think we can gain a lot of iRating this week. It's one of those tracks that it rewards practice, it rewards knowledge.
yeah, I think just
Arca,
the fact that we were there over last week, it's gonna really help because we know what the line is.
yeah, and especially when we see what like top split guys are doing, and and cross-referencing stuff with other bits of information. I think
I will say
it
this,
can
and
really do well.
not to brag or anything, but this was like the very first time that I outqualified Aaron.
True.
I I was
I know
very
you
I was
got a
like
little
what
jolly out of that. I
I
could
was
tell you
like
were hiding, your tail was wagging.
yeah, I was like, hey, I outqualified Aaron. Usually he outqualifies me, and I gotta race fucking hard to get to him.
Yeah, I didn't even have pace in Rockingham and Relentless when I won. It was just tires at the end. I had good race pace. Like I know how to play off others, and I know how to like work the pace down. But raw pace, man, like that's a tough track. And I said, you're good there. You're like, I'm not good there. I'm like, no, dude, you're good there because I think you're faster than me there. Like, and I think, like, I don't know. I know that I'm not the end all be all with it, but if I know if you're better than I am at a place, I know that you're gonna be better than a good amount of people. Um, but ARCA this week in the officials, people who follow iRacing closely and you follow, the iRacing YouTube community, DJ EJ, just posted a pretty bombshell video for him, basically just ranting about the new ARCA car. Granted, he was an old generation ARCA farm Gen 4 guy, and he really loved that. But I could see why he loved that because his new ARCA car, all the complaints he had, I had too, which is mile and a halfs are flat out. You can turn the wheel to fucking 8 o'clock on the fucking wheel. You can turn the wheel beyond 90 degrees left, almost downwards with a 12 to 1 ratio and flat out everything. The setups, which we hope they change because we come to find this out, which the ARCA setups, it's the same setup at every track, which is different gear ratios. It's the same springs, it's the same shocks, it's the same shock collars, ride heights. And it's like, really? Like they didn't make individual setups for this car yet? That screams to me, and DJ EJ said the same thing. Very rushed for NASCAR 25 to just get the physical car on the track and make adjustments later. I'm cool with it. I know this too shall pass, and we won't even remember this day when we're bitching about this. But as somebody who I'm in the business of farming iRating, you need something that races every hour. You need something that you can do multiple in a day of. Um, and this new ARCA car, man, like you'll be straight up going to the corner, turning like this, and the front end is somehow making it work. And everybody does that. So like Gen 6 ARCA body needs a really big touch up. It also has an issue with getting a bunch of X's for nothing. Everyone's finding out like little pushes give X's. The shitty net code has been really bad with it. So it's kind of frustrating that they've had years to even have this in the works, and it tells me that they were never going to change it if NASCAR 25 didn't come around. It's like if NASCAR 25 wasn't in the build, um, they would have never done it because if they don't have simple things such as different setups for different tracks, there's a guy that can build setups in like an hour that'll be useful. Like you just have that guy figure something out, because ARCA for a lot of people is iRacing to them. It's one of the first things you get when you get out of rookie class. You get ARCA. So a lot of people stay there. A lot of people race every hour, so it's stimulus. You don't got to work super hard. Same spring packages everywhere, the same tires everywhere. So that's kind of shitty. So on the iRacing front, people are starting to call iRacing out on that, which is a good thing. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, in my opinion. And it seems like the iRacing devs are probably going to get to that sooner than later. At least I hope so. Because coming up this week, I was going to say is ARCA this week is at Michigan. And if ARCA at Las Vegas is wide open, especially even in 1 and 2 and with the sunlight on it, that you don't have to lift there. If that's wide open, then Michigan for sure will be wide open. And Michigan wide open with those cars is going to be basically Talladega. Like, that's going to be in Atlanta. That's going to be the worst shit you've ever heard of. So kind of frustrating because the Gen 4 car, ARCA at Michigan, was fun. Like it did require skill. I know certain people hated that how that car drives. They don't like how the twisted body is. I'm the same way. If you touch the right side at all, you're glued to it. But at least it served the purpose of requiring some kind of skill other than just mashing it and cranking the wheel left. So, um, that's really all I got. I'm gonna look up and see where Gen 4 is. Just speaking of that body style. Um, because Gen 4 could emerge itself as like a decent. uh, a decent option because they were at Daytona this week, and you don't want to be at Daytona with that wedged body at a track that there's no caution. Um, so yeah, Gen 4 goes to Richmond next week, and then the week after is at Auto Club. So the week after Auto Club might be kind of fun. Then it goes to Rockingham. Anyway, so the places that I would look to gain I rating this week would probably be Xfinity at Rockingham, be fixed or open if you can get a setup from somebody. I definitely recommend doing that. And then maybe the trucks, depending on the setup. If the setup is ill handling loose at all, it might be fun. Um, but I think I'm gonna go back to the open world for a bit. I'm not sure about you, partner, but I think that's where my interests are gonna take me in terms of if ARCA sucks and if ARCA is impossible to differentiate yourself via time and effort and skill, then fuck that. I'll go to the hardest, which is Xfinity Open. So that's all I really got, man. Um, if anything else that you want to say, but that's all I really got for the iRacing part.
No, I agree. If you're a NASCAR guy, go to Rockingham for Be Fixed. It's gonna handle very very weird with the bumps. You're gonna be tight. You're gonna be loose. You're gonna be all over the place. So if you want a smoother race, do the trucks at Rockingham. So especially how that handles. I think I might do some official racing this week and get some I rating and possibly some wins. I think I know what I need to do there. So, but Talladega is always fun. So I'm probably gonna get wrecked there. But it's shocking that the Cup is going to Talladega when it's Talladega here in a couple weeks.
Is it gonna be Talladega 2 out of 3 weeks?
I mean, in real life, they go to Talladega. So they have this off week, and then they go to
Yeah.
Talladega.
So it's gonna be Talladega twice in a row.
You,
Is what it's gonna be probably.
let's look that up before we.
Yeah, because if it's Talladega twice in a row, then I'm for sure not touching it. Apart from NIS.
Um, not eligible.
So while he's looking that up, just want to give another shout out to Colton Loomis at Non-Typical Designs for all he does for us, always keeping us in the sharpest, flashiest cars. I get asked all the time on the racetrack, who does your work? Your paint scheme looks so good. I have this really cool red Chrome 99 machine. Reminds me of my favorite Buffalo Sabres logo, the old 1990s, what they call the goat head, but it's actually obviously a buffalo. But the paint scheme of black, red, and silver and all that. So hit up Colton Loomis, non-typical designs on Twitter. Hit him up on iRacing. He's been doing that more, but I just want to shout out him and all he does, keeping us in a lickety split. Okay, so it goes to Vegas and then Talladega.
Yes.
So I was wrong. What was I looking at? What was I looking at?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Were you?
I might have been looking at NIS. NIS might have an off week.
Let's just look, shall we? Schedule.
I was looking at NIS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, because
So there's an off week, and then it's
yeah. So yeah. Yep.
okay.
So
they
NIS
follow
is
it.
going to
So
take off. Yep.
okay, gotcha. But Cup is at Vegas apparently, right? That's what you're saying.
Yep. The Cup is at
Okay.
Vegas,
Okay.
which
So that could be an option.
you're not gonna be doing because you're not licensed.
Yeah, I might try to farm. I don't know. 'Cause I like Vegas. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I think Rockingham for sure.
Yeah. Rockingham, 1000%. So,
Yeah.
that will do it. Like I said, we're gonna take an off week, for Easter. So, looking forward to that. I'm gonna have amazing food, as always, thanks to Mama Jewett. And then I will be back for the Texas race the following week, and then we'll right? No. So we'll be back. I just got to figure out what we're gonna do. If we're gonna do the streaming, uh, I don't know. We'll figure it out. If not, we will not be back until May 4th. So, but we'll keep you guys updated. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify. So Aaron will be doing some clips for Twitter, since now we have an X and a Twitter. Yeah. As always, we appreciate you guys watching and tuning in and all that fun shenanigans. So, anything else you want to add? Cool.
That's all I got.
All right. As always, take care of yourself, take care of others. Goodbye.